Hey guys, it's Mystical Storms here. Is it 3:09 a.m. right now? Yes. Will I be putting this as a scheduled post? Of course, because I'm trying to put them at different intervals. So, yeah. Anyway, this is technically a part 2, I think. Well, it is part of a series, so it's part 2 of, what was the other one called? Smokey Embers. And this one is called Inky Photos by RawRBitch07. Again, obviously. It's a 2,100 word fic. It's just one chapter, so I think it can be read individually. But check out my last post if you didn't see it. So, yeah. Anyway. Summary: after a few people find out about his tattoos and piercings and somehow become a one-time model, Izuku now has to live with the consequences of lying about his true personality, and maybe he might get a new boyfriend out of it. Notes: someone suggested a part 2 of Smokey Embers, so you shall receive. Anyway, without further notice, let's get started. As soon as Izuku woke up, he knew that today was going to be eventful. Perhaps it was a slight crack in between his dorm room curtains, shining a blinding light right into his eyes, or maybe it was the perfectly laid out cheese board outside of the balcony that he knew was made by an equally bright and shining classmate. Ultimately, knew it was probably the wide and shocked eyes of his classmates staring at him through the very crack of light he was just complaining about. He shot up in bed, seeing the expressions, wondering what Ayama was so astonished by, but after following his line of sight, he realized that he was staring at his arms. Or moreover, the tattoos on his arms. Oh shit. He shot his eyes back to Ayama, only to see him scrambling to his feet and back into his dorm room. Fuck. He needed to somehow explain to his classmate why he was covered in unholy ink paintings. Scurrying out of his bed and grabbing the closest shirt, which was 100% dirty, and fumbling to his door handle to open, jogging over to the neighbor's door. Raising his fist, he cautiously knocked on the door. Not a second later, it was pulled wide open, and he was hastily pulled inside, hearing the door slam shut behind him. Looked over to see his classmate. This is not what it looks like. It's completely ignoring his bug-eyed classmate. Mon ami, you have tattoos? Shh! Izuku scrambling, Izuku hadn't noticed that he had put his hands onto his classmate's mouth, to quiet him. That is, of course, before Ayama stuck his tongue out to get his hand off. Izuku had barely noticed the slimy muscle because he was currently wondering how to spill the beans of his real personality to his classmates. Now, don't get him wrong, this was not the first person to find out about the smoking habits. Not only 2 weeks ago had his best friend Toshi also accidentally found out about it. It was 3 a.m. on Tuesday night. At the 1A dorm, Aizawa had an extra patrol night, so he had missed his and Izuku's nightly smoke break. As a result, it was just Izuku on his balcony instead of the roof, too tired for the day intense training to climb and sneak all the way up. Leaning against the railing, headphones in blasting, he didn't seem to notice his best friend come out of his own balcony door right next door. Toshi only wanted to get some fresh air after staying late awake, scrolling through his phone, having completely given up on sleeping thanks to insomnia, not expecting to see his best and only friend out there already. His brain hadn't comprehended the very visible smoke coming out of his mouth and the equally visible tattoos and piercings covering his upper body until it did. What the actual fuck? He knew that his friend was very different from what others think he is, personality-wise, but this was a giant step from some dry, dirty humor and swearing. Now, normally Izuku would freak out and try to make up some excuse to why he was out there, but this was not the time to be normal. He was just tired, sleep deprived, and depressed, and his anxiety just suddenly decided to show up in full force this night. So instead of freaking out, he just slid a glance at Toshi and smirked in amusement at his best friend's state. Hi, Toshi. Toshi didn't necessarily care about Izuku's habit, especially after hearing his reasoning as to why he does it in the first place, so by the end of their sudden revolution of things they know about each other, he simply ends the conversation with, "Good night, Izuku. See you in the morning. Good night, Toshi." Izuku snaps out of his thoughts from the close-up face of his sparkly classmate. Mon ami? His eyes shot away to his friend and quickly exclaimed, "Please, please, please, don't tell anyone. I want to be able to tell them myself." Ayama hesitated. This was his classmate, his friend, the innocent cinnamon roll of his class, who showed everyone kindness, but this was some of the juiciest gossip he's ever had the privilege of seeing. The innocent cinnamon roll of the class one day was actually not so innocent and defeatedly not a cinnamon roll, if those tattoos and piercing had anything to say about it. Ultimately, he chose the right choice and pouted, "Fine." Izuku positively lit up. "Thank you so much, Ayama-san." He slightly bowed and ran back to the door. See you in class," and walked out. A couple weeks later, Izuku had nearly forgotten about the interaction. He was currently in the support course department to get his costume altered. He wanted to make the fabric a little more durable, especially since he was going to be an underground hero and had bigger chances of getting stabbed or something like that. Three people were now about to get all his measurements, and he stood on the little heightened circle and spread his arms wide. The other students started to take measure of him, but seemed to be having some difficulties. He glanced down at them and gave a friendly look. "Is something wrong?" The girl he was looking at, Sakura-san, huffed. "Your school uniform is getting in the way of your body, so we can't get your proper measurements. Could you take your shirt off?" "Shit, how the fuck is he gonna get out of this one?" "He's not." "Oh, is this really necessary?" Sweat dropped. She raised an eyebrow. "What, are you shy? It's fine, we'll be quick. If you don't do this properly, your costume would be exact opposite of what you want to do." He sighed defeatedly and slowly took off his shirt. All three gasped and hesitantly looked at them, and saw how he was staring at his tattoos and nipple piercings. "I was definitely not expecting that," the boy Tanaka-kun breathed out. Two girls were very openly ogling his body. He wasn't that dense. He knew he was hot. His toned body that showed the hard work to his baby-faced freckled cheeks and the sexy tattoos and piercings. He knew he looked good. Unlucky for them, he's as straight as a circle. After they stopped ogling, the second girl, Hori-san, gasped and quickly pulls out other two support students over to the other side of the door. They were whispering, and the other two faces lit up at whatever Hori-san said. They all collectively nodded and bounced back over to Izuku. "So, we have a proposition." Izuku blinked, taken aback. Tanaka-kun saw his confusion and clarified. "We and some students from the business course have a joint assignment, and we think you could be perfect person to help us." "What's the assignment?" Izuku asked. "It's a fashion magazine cover, but instead of normal fashion, it's for sport items and costumes. So our part would be making the costumes. The business course students would do the marketing and the editing part, and you could be our model," Sakura-san explained. Izuku was intrigued and also wanted to know what he got out of this. He asked as such. "Oh, well, Izuku sighed and was about to decline the offer. He really just wanted to get this fitted done as soon as possible, so that we can get the costume as fast as he can. Wait, we will put your name on the top of the list of your costume to make. So instead of a couple of weeks, you'll have it in 3 to 5 days." Well, shit, that was a really good offer. "Fine, I'll be your model, but I can't have too many distinct features put out. That's because I'm going to become an underground hero." The three of them enthusiastically nodded their head. "Sounds perfect." Izuku was completely feeling himself upright. He knew he was killing it with his new modeling thing. The 6 others in the room also seemed to be thinking so as well. Sakura, Hori, and Tanaka were touching up his position and costumes every couple of minutes, and the 3 other business course students were standing off to the side, shocked face, awe-filled eyes. They knew that they hit the jackpot. The other 3 students still hadn't seen the main event, as the costume designer put it, which he believed is his tattoos and abs. They were about after, which is believed. The other 3 students still hadn't seen the main event, as the costume designer put it, which he believes is his tattoos and abs. They were about to. After the photographers finished with a million of shots with his costume, his new friend wants some without his shirt, and with some special effects made to imitate dirt and blood, to get the whole hero vibe, whatever that means. They swiftly took him to the changing room to get ready for the next shot, and he was excited. 10 minutes later, he walked out looking amazing, and the business course students Takashi, Suzuki, and Ito were flabbergasted. Who knew that his quirkless and happy-go-lucky cinnamon roll was a total hottie in a depressed emo kind of way? They were excited to do this part of the assignment. They were some of the best online marketers in the class, and they knew they would win this with the help of Izuku in the front cover. Izuku was in the common room kitchen minding his own business when he heard the screech. He thought it was a villain or someone got hurt. Something terrible like that. So, like the inspiring hero he wants to be, he rushed to the main lounge area in a fighting stance ready to attack. What he had thought was an important villain attack was just his classmate Mineta staring wide-eyed at a magazine. Oh, the one he was in. Nice. Fuck. Everyone around them snapped their heads to him, staring wide-eyed. He tilted his head to the side confusingly before realizing they had said that out loud. "Since when do you swear? How old were you when you got your tattoos? Since when did you have tattoos? When did you get nipple piercings? Why are you on the front cover of a magazine?" Everyone kept yelling over each other, asking the same questions over and over again. All except Katsuki. He walked his fine ass over. Really, his ass is fine as fuck. And grabbed him by the collar of his shirt and yelled, "Zuku, since when did you get so hot?" Everyone went silent after that. Izuku's eyes bulged out of his head as he stared at his childhood friend. In another universe, Katsuki had shunned Izuku after he was diagnosed quirkless. But not in this universe. This one, Katsuki continued being his friend with Izuku. He could chase away all the bullies, but once they got into middle school, Katsuki nearly got a black mark on his record after the bullies put all of the blame on him, and he and Izuku had the idea of making it look like they hated each other, and Katsuki became Izuku's main bully, and in result of that, all of the other bullies left Izuku alone, because they assumed that he would get enough beating from Katsuki alone, and just somehow kept the facade when they arrived at UA and hadn't had a chance to talk about it because of all the league drama. Enough about that. Back to the conversation at hand. Izuku's brain finally caught up to the silence, and he slowly smirked down into Katsuki. He was unlucky and got his short hide from his mother, and lightly placed his hand on the other cheek and leaned down, brushing his breath against Katsuki's neck, and smirked at the full body shiver as he whispered in his ear. In a straight masculine dom voice. I don't know, sweetheart, when did you get so cute? Katsuki's face and neck burned. He slowly leaned his weight into Izuku's. They both seemed to have totally forgotten that the rest of the class were there, including Jiro and Shoji, who had hearing quirks, and could hear his whispering. That was until Araka made her inhuman screech and ran away crying. Everyone just stood still, silently, for a while, and somehow all telepathically decided that they were gonna have this conversation another time, because too many things had just come to life. Nezu was later found by a petrified Hisashi Yamada in his office, covered in tea, cackling maniacally. And that is the end of this. So, yeah, this was extremely short, kind of hilarious. Yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please go kudo the author. The fic is always in my description with a summary. Usually I have the summary in there, and if there's fan art, I usually also have the fan art in there. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, evening, whenever, wherever you are, and I love you. Bye.